Mr. Smith's birthday party today, Orville had seen the rejuvenation pill and just how magical it was. But he never dared to hope he'd get a chance to have one himself. So, even though he felt like he'd just taken a rejuvenation pill, the whole thing was just too shocking to believe. Deep down, he wasn't sure if he'd really taken it. Charlie smiled and gave him a quiet look, saying softly, "This is your chance. Take it all in." Orville burst into tears right then and there. He knew Mr. Wade meant he was giving him a chance. He couldn't believe it. Just a second ago, he was about to die. And in the next, not only was he alive, but he'd also been given this incredible opportunity by Mr. Wade. The rejuvenation pill. An opportunity so amazing he wouldn't have even dared to dream of it, and it had just fallen into his lap. In that moment, Orville's loyalty to Charlie was practically overflowing. He felt like Charlie had given him his life back. From now on, every second of his life would belong to Mr. Wade. He would dedicate himself completely to serving Mr. Wade, because without him, he'd already be a dead man. Right after that, Orville's body started to recover rapidly. He shot up from the ground, then dropped to his knees in front of Charlie and said, "Mr. Wade, you saved my life. From this day forward, my life belongs to you." Charlie smiled slightly. "Get up." Hearing this, Orville stood up. Then he looked around and saw the Harrison family, father and son, kneeling on the ground, too scared to move. Kean and the 5 Wells family bodyguards had all been taken out. He couldn't help but be amazed. Mr. Wade's strength was truly beyond belief. All these guys, and they hadn't even managed to scratch Mr. Wade. He couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Wade, what's the plan for these guys? Are you going to kill them right here, or—" Charlie smiled slightly and said, "Come on, let's hold a trial and find them guilty." "Trial?" Orville asked. "Mr. Wade, what do you mean?" Charlie smiled and said, "It looks like the governor is ready to hear the case." Orville nodded quickly, pulled up a chair and said with a smile, "Mr. Wade, please, have a seat. Let's get this trial started." Charlie, sat down and pointed at Finian and Gage. He said coldly, "The criminals, Finian and Gage Harrison, you two are just lackeys for the Wells family, and you plotted to kill me." Finian and Gage were terrified. They bowed their heads and cried out, "Mr. Wade, please, have mercy. We were forced into it. We had no other choice." Charlie gave a detached smile and said magnanimously, "Since you were just being used by someone else, this official will spare you from a death sentence." Hearing this, the two were so overwhelmed with excitement that they nearly burst into tears. But Charlie continued, "I can let you live, but you still have to face the consequences. Whether you survive this depends entirely on your performance." Finian, Harrison, and Gage quickly pledged their loyalty. "Mr. Wade, from this day forward, we, father and son, will do anything you ask. We'll be completely devoted to you, forever." Charlie waved his hand dismissively. "I have no use for you two." He turned to Orville and said, "Orville, since Gage is now poor hanging, what should we call his dad?" Orville thought for a moment. "Well, if we're going with that theme for his dad, should he be called the father of poor hanging?" Charlie nodded. Yes, you're right. He's the father of poor hanging." Then Charlie looked over at Finian and asked with a smile, "Finian, what do you think?" Finian nodded furiously, like a bobblehead. He tried to suck up, saying, "Mr. Orville is absolutely right. I am the father of poor hanging." "Good." Charlie nodded, satisfied. He said to Orville, "See? He agrees. Go get your tools for some artistic penmanship and give him a matching one." "Artistic penmanship?" Orville looked confused and blurted out, "Mr. Wade, what are you talking about? I'm no artist. I can't do that." Charlie pointed to the words "poor hanging" carved on Gage's forehead and asked Orville, "The mark, have you forgotten?" Orville smacked his own forehead and said, "Oh, my apologies, Mr. Wade. I'm an idiot. I didn't realize that's what you meant." Finian Harrison was terrified when he heard this. Seeing the words "poor hanging" on his own son's forehead was already agonizing. If he had "father of poor hanging" carved on his own, he'd rather be dead. So he started to cry, pleading, "Mr. Wade, look, I'm an old man. Please, let me keep some shred of dignity." Charlie nodded and said, "I am already showing you mercy by having Orville just carve your forehead, Otherwise, I'd have the words carved on both sides of your face. You and your son would have a matching set, a real father-son keepsake." Finian collapsed. "Mr. Wade, please, forgive me. I'm old, my skin is all wrinkled. It'll be too hard for Orville to use the knife." Orville sneered. "Finian, don't you worry about that. I have a very steady hand. Even if your forehead is a roadmap of wrinkles, I can carve those words on you just fine." Just then, Jacob jumped in. "Charlie, my boy, this Finian is a real piece of work. He was going to carve poor father-in-law right on my forehead, and he said he'd press hard enough to carve it into my skull." Finian shuddered and cried out, "Mr. Wilson, I was just joking." "That's a load of crap," Jacob yelled furiously. "Your son's knife was right at my forehead just a minute ago. If my son-in-law hadn't shown up when he did, you would have already carved it into me." Finian turned to Charlie. "Mr. Wade, I was just messing around with your father-in-law. I swear, I didn't mean it." Charlie said, "I don't care if you're sincere or not. I'm giving you a choice right now. Either you let Orville finish carving those words on you without moving, or I'll have Orville take a knife and castrate your son. And yes, he'll do it right in front of you. The choice is yours." When Gage heard this, he burst into tears and dropped to his knees in front of Finian. He started bowing and scraping. Dad, you can't let him castrate me. I won't be able to have kids. The Harrison family can't end like this." Finian was just about ready to pass out from the pain. What was he supposed to do? If he had known it would come to this, he would have killed himself before ever daring to provoke Orville or Charlie. Now, Charlie had laid out this twisted multiple-choice question in front of him. How could he possibly choose? Choose the carving? A lifetime of respectability just thrown in the trash. But if he didn't choose the carving, his son would be castrated by Orville. This wasn't just about his son. It was the future of the entire Harrison family. The thought made him tremble. He looked at Orville and choked out through his despair and pain. "Orville, please show me some mercy when you do it." Orville sneered. "Don't worry," he said. "I'll be sure to carve it right into your skull." Finian cried out in fear. The second Orville's knife touched his forehead, he screamed in agony and tried to pull away. Orville slapped him hard across the face. "Scream again," he said, "and I'll make sure your son can never have kids." Hearing that, Finian froze. He didn't dare move. He could only weep silently, clenching his jaw as he endured Orville's marking. Orville pressed the knife down hard and soon carved 4 large words onto Finian's forehead. "Father of the poor, hanging." Finian's entire forehead was a bloody mess, a truly pathetic sight. Gage was paralyzed with fear nearby, forced to watch his father get carved up, 4 words seared into his skin. The feeling, the sight of it, was sickening. After the words were carved, Finian tearfully and shakily asked Charlie, "Mr. Wade, can you let us go now?" Charlie shook his head. "Huh, you think your punishment is over? This is just the beginning." Then he turned to Gage. "All right, you, give me your phone." Gage quickly pulled out his latest phone, unlocked it, and handed it to Charlie. Charlie asked him, "Does this have a video recorder?" "Yes," Gage nodded quickly. Charlie found the social media app, opened it, and said to him, "Okay, you and your dad are going to record a little stand-up comedy routine for social media. If you do a good job, I'll let you go. If you mess it up, I'll have your legs broken." The father and son quickly stammered, "Mr. Wade, we'll do whatever you say. As long as you don't kill us, we'll do anything." "Yeah," Charlie nodded slightly. All right, listen up. I'm going to give you your lines. You two need to memorize them perfectly. Don't mess up a single word, got it?" The two of them nodded frantically. "We got it." "Good." Charlie sneered, motioning for them to come closer. Then he told them the lines he had prepared. When he finished speaking, both father and son were horrified. Finian started to cry again. "Mr. Wade, if we actually say that, make a video and post it, the Wells family will kill us for sure." Gage added, "Mr. Wade, you're killing our grandpa." Charlie said coldly, "What? The Wells family will kill you, but I won't?" The two of them paled in shock. Charlie said again, "Let me tell you, if you record this video honestly, You two will have at least one night to get away. As long as you escape from Orris Hill, the Wells family probably can't do anything to you. If you leave the country, you two can live in peace. But if you don't follow my instructions, then you're staying here tonight." Hearing this, Finian hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, we've spent so many years in Orris Hill. If we leave tonight, a lot of our assets will be left behind." Charlie frowned. "What? You want to bargain? Forget it. Don't record it. Just hand yourselves over." Gage quickly tried to convince his father, saying, "Dad, our lives are more important. Let's go to East Cliff tonight and then fly from there to Mexico tomorrow morning to see my uncle. We can buy a small estate in Mexico. We'll never have to come back here again." Thinking about this, Finian gritted his teeth and said, "Mr. Wade, let's shoot the video." Charlie nodded and said, "All right, let's get this show on the road." Then he pulled out his phone and aimed it at the father and son. The two stood side by side. Gage wiped his tears and forced a smile. "Hey everyone, I'm a poor hangin' Gage Harrison." Finian quickly chimed in. "And I'm Finian Harrison, the father of the poor hanging." Together they announced, "And we're a father-son duo here to do some stand-up comedy for you today." Gage continued, "You've probably all seen what's carved on my forehead. I had these words put here because I've always been full of myself. This is just a little reminder for everyone that I'm a poor hanging." Finian added, "I like to think of myself as a hero for my son." Since he had poor hanging carved on his forehead, I couldn't let him down. So I got this one on mine, father of poor hanging. Gage then said, "Now when you see this, you're probably asking yourselves, why is this kid and his dad so full of it? Well, it's mainly because we've got a really tight relationship with the Wells family." "That's right," Finian exclaimed. "Everyone knows the Wells family is loaded, but their real claim to fame isn't their money. It's their son, who, likes to eat crap." Gage Harrison picked up the thread. "Yep, and speaking of the Wells family's son who eats filth, you've all probably seen that video on social media. This dude has to eat a meal of it every single hour, and he can't miss a single one." I mean, does that sound like a normal person to you? Finian Harrison chimed in from the side. "Hearing you say it like that, this Wells family sounds really one of a kind." "You bet." Gage nodded over and over, giving a thumbs up. "That's why I gotta say, the Wells family is incredible. Otherwise, how could the second young master of the Wells family be so cocky?" Finian Harrison asked curiously, "Hey, now that you mention it, why haven't we heard anything about the young master of the Wells family lately?" Gage said, "Oh, I heard he's living the good life now, getting the royal treatment." "What do you mean?" Finian looked ready for some gossip. Gage explained, "He's doing awesome. He's living in the Wells family's mansion. They say he needs about 20 special deliveries a day." Finian asked, "That's wild. With more than 20 meals a day, can the Wells family's output keep up?" Gage said seriously, definitely not. I mean, think about it. No matter how hard the Wells family tries, they can't avoid it. After that, Finian asked Gage, "Dad, you want to sign up? We could head over to the Wells family's house for a few days and, bring some nice meals for Mr. Wells." Gage nodded over and over. "That's a great idea. If we go, won't the old master from the Wells family, that lowlife, and that creep Roman Wells be so grateful they'll be bowing and scraping at our feet?" As he said this, Gage's heart hammered in his chest. This was really going to tick off the Wells family for good. Finian's heart was pounding, but he glanced at Charlie, gritted his teeth, and went on. More than just bowing and scraping, he'd probably be so grateful that he'd grovel before both of us. I heard the Wells family has a thing for that. Making people their godfather. Maybe he'll get so worked up he'll want to make me his godfather or something. Old Master Wells likes to find godfathers? Gage asked. Why does he have a habit like that? Who knows why? Finian shrugged and said, I heard the old man has already picked up more than 300 godfathers. Maybe he just really likes being someone's son. Gage quickly jumped in, adding to what Finian had said. So, if I go over to the Wells family's place, is their old master going to recognize me as his father too? Finian snapped his fingers. You know what? I think that's very likely. Gage hurried to say, Whoa, Dad, that won't work. If the old master calls both of us Dad, what does that make us? It messes with our whole father-son dynamic. Finian thought for a moment, then nodded. You've got a point. In that case, I'll just have him recognize me as his godfather. That should solve it, right? Gage chuckled. Yeah, I think that'll work. Finian then said, Actually, the whole Wells family has some weird hobbies. It's not just Rowan Wells with his thing for eating crap, or old Master Wells wanting to be everyone's godfather. Roman has his own special thing too. Really? Gage asked. What's Roman's hobby? Is he into eating that stuff too? Nope, Finian said. I heard that when Roman was younger, he was really into the whole jester's cap thing. Gage asked curiously, Dad, what does the jester's cap thing mean? Finian explained, Well, it means he likes it when his wife cheats on him. The more she does it, the happier he is. Gage exclaimed, No way! Is that for real? Absolutely! Finian gave a strained laugh. They say that when Roman was young, he had a particularly ambitious dream. Gage asked eagerly, What dream? Finian said, He dreamed of collecting 10,000 green hats. If he were short even one, he'd feel like his life wasn't complete. Gage did some quick math on his fingers. Dad, to get that many, even if he wore a jester's cap every single one of the 365 days of the year, it would take him almost 30 years. His wife would have to be busy every single day. Finian smiled. See, that's where you don't get it. Who said it was only one a day? Hearing this, Gage gave a big thumbs up and exclaimed, Man, the Wells family is really something else. That's incredible. After that, Gage asked again, By the way, Dad, what about Bradley? Does he have any weird hobbies? Him? Finian. Out of the whole Wells family, he's the most messed up of them all. Gage asked curiously, What is it? Finian leaned in and said mysteriously, Actually, that jerk is a creep. What? Gage Harrison exclaimed. Bradley Wells is a creep? Yep, Finian blurted out. I'm telling you, don't be fooled by how tough he acts all day. The second he's behind closed doors, he turns into a total creep. It's intense, he continued, and get this. You know that bodyguard who's always with Roman and Bradley Wells? The one named Keon Marsh? The guy is a total badass. Back in the day, he was a stone-cold killer. Later, he and a few of his buddies started working as bodyguards for the Wells family. Turns out, Keon is just like Bradley. So Bradley and those 5 bodyguards hang out together all day, and I hear they're having wild parties every night. Living it up. Oh my God, Gage exclaimed. So the Wells family is into some wild stuff. I had no idea. Finian smiled and said, Let me put it this way. The whole Wells family, every single one of them, they're all a bunch of total freaks. Speaking of which, Finian paused, then finally got the nerve to say, But to be honest, Roman's wife is something else. I remember back in the day she was a famous beauty in the area. Gage quickly asked, Is that the one who's always cheating on Roman Wells? Yep, that's her, Finian said with a dreamy look on his face. I'd kill to be with her, even just once. I'd love to put a jester's cap on Roman Wells myself, Gage said eagerly. Dad, think you could take me with you? Finian smiled and said, All right, should we head out now? Let's do it, Gage smiled back. Let's go now. Just then, Charlie stopped the recording and nodded, satisfied. Yeah, not bad. You two have a real knack for stand-up comedy. All right, get out of here. Finian was in tears as he asked, Mr. Wade, you're going to post this video, aren't you? Yep, Charlie nodded and said, I'm posting this on social media right now. Once your little stand-up routine hits the internet, you guys are going to go viral. Finian trembled with fear and pleaded, Mr. Wade, can you please post the video later? If you do it now, the Wells family will come after us right away. Charlie kicked Keon, who was lying on the floor like a sack of potatoes, and said to Finian, What are you so scared of? The Wells family brought all these bodyguards, and now they're all laid out right here. What have you got to be afraid of? You think Roman and Bradley Wells are going to hunt you down themselves? I bet the 2 of you could take them. If all 4 of you got into a fight, they'd be the ones getting hurt. Finian thought about it. It was true. The Wells family had no one left in Orris Hill. It would take time to bring people in from their area. By then, he and his son would be long gone. Gage said to Finian, Dad, let's go home, pack our things, drive to East Cliff tonight, and catch the first flight to Mexico tomorrow morning. If we do that, the Wells family will never be able to catch us." Finian said, "This video of ours is going to piss off the entire Wells family. I'm afraid they'll hunt us to the ends of the earth out of pure rage." Gage said with a worried tone, "Dad, the Wells family can't be that bad, right?" "No, Finian, you don't get it. Roman Wells adores his wife. We disrespected her so badly, I'm terrified." Charlie was too tired to listen to them ramble on and said flatly, "I'm uploading the video right now. If you two want to get out of here, you'd better do it fast. It's your only chance to make it out alive. Don't come crying to me if you're too slow. It's your only shot at survival." Finian said, snapping out of his daze. He then hurriedly turned to Charlie. "Mr. Wade, we're going. We're leaving right now." After he said that, he grabbed Gage and blurted out, "Come on, we're going home to pack. We're heading to East Cliff tonight." Gage, terrified of being hunted by the Wells family, quickly nodded. Then the father and son scrambled away, looking nervous and humiliated. Watching them flee, Orville asked Charlie respectfully,